Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here. Welcome to an episode of the Star Trek News Desk, where I bring you all the news from the Star Trek universe. Now, I haven't done one of these in quite some time. Truth be told, I was planning on doing a book review today of the TNG book Hearts and Minds. However, with a lot of the news that's been floating around, that will have to wait, as there are definitely some things happening in the Star Trek universe that I want to comment on. So without further ado, let's take a look. First up, the headline story that's been making waves all over the internet for the past couple of days. It looks like Quentin Tarantino may be developing a Star Trek film. According to Deadline, sources say that Tarantino has come up with a, quote, great idea for a Star Trek movie at Paramount. He has reportedly shared his idea with J.J. Abrams, and apparently the plan is to assemble a writer's room of scribes who will hear Tarantino's take on the film and begin to put together a movie. If all of this works out, Tarantino himself may direct it, with J.J. Abrams producing. Now, of course, it's way too early to report this as a hard and fast fact. However, it's really interesting that a lot of different sources are talking about this on the internet right now, and I have to wonder what a Quentin Tarantino directed Star Trek film would look like. He has in the past talked about his favorite Star Trek episodes, including The City on the Edge of Forever and Yesterday's Enterprise, two of my favorites. This is, of course, very much wait and see, but we'll be watching this story very closely in the weeks and months to come. I have to wonder what exactly a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek film would look like. I don't know. I have to say, while it's not my first choice, I am definitely intrigued. Another story you may have seen floating around on your Facebook feed is Patrick Stewart saying maybe to the idea of returning to the role of Captain Picard in Star Trek. Now, this is one story that if you don't click beyond the headline may get you very excited. However, the actual quote from Stewart is a little bit more subdued. Stewart was speaking with Variety about the Oscar buzz surrounding the X-Men film Logan, and the interviewer asked Stewart about the role of Captain Picard. The full quote is as follows: "I cannot think of another instance in which that might happen. My feeling is I hung up the spacesuit and left all of that behind a long time ago. Maybe if someone came up with a brilliant idea, I'd do it. One thing that might interest me would be to bring all the existing casts of Star Trek from the last 50 years together for one big story." This is a very far cry from Patrick Stewart expressing actual interest to coming back as Captain Picard. It sounds like he was a little bit pushed into giving an answer here. However, I suppose it does allow them to do the headline of Patrick Stewart saying maybe, but it's a very, very weak maybe. I just had a thought. Patrick Stewart in a Quentin Tarantino directed Star Trek film. Maybe. In other sort of Star Trek film news, there's been a trailer floating around for a new film coming in January called Please Stand By. According to the synopsis of the film, Dakota Fanning stars as a woman who escapes a group home hoping to get her Star Trek script produced in Hollywood. On the way, she must conquer a new world full of challenges. In addition to Dakota Fanning, the film stars Toni Collette, Alice Eve, who you may remember as Carol Marcus from Star Trek Into Darkness, and Patton Oswalt. With the subject matter, I bet a lot of Star Trek fans will be going to see this film along with general audiences. Here's hoping the film's successful. It looks very interesting, and I will definitely be seeing this in the theaters. And finally, CBS has announced the release date for the first part of the Star Trek Discovery soundtrack by Jeff Russo. On December 15th, Star Trek Discovery Original Series Soundtrack Season 1, Chapter 1 will be released. Pre-sales will begin this Friday for digital downloads, and sales for physical media, CD and vinyl, will be coming early in the new year. The album features 21 tracks of music from the first part of Star Trek Discovery Season 1, including the aired version of the main title theme, an extended version of that same theme, as well as a lot of music from various episodes throughout the series. According to Discovery producer Alex Kurtzman, Jeff manages to hold each note in beautiful balance, evoking the nostalgia of Alexander Courage's original theme, while scoring Discovery with his own unique ear and heart. We're lucky to have him, and we hope you'll love his music as much as we do. Star Trek Discovery soundtrack. Note to any friends and family who might be watching, I would not be opposed to seeing this under my Christmas tree this year. Thank you all so much for watching. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links are all in the description below. Please leave a comment with your thoughts on any of the news stories I've talked about today. And if you have any news tips, be sure to leave those as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, live long and prosper.